Billboard collapse kills at least 14 in Mumbai during thunderstorm. Thousands protest in Georgia against Russia-style law. Ukraine strikes Russian apartment building. Third trespassing reported at Drake's mansion. Museum curator detained over spider smuggling. Sherpa Rita scales Mount Everest for 29th time.
Hello, I'm Wade Lee. Thank you for joining us on Funday News. It is Wednesday, May 15th, and here are your top stories. According to local authorities, at least 14 people have died and dozens were injured after a huge billboard fell on them during a thunderstorm in India's financial capital, Mumbai. The billboard collapsed on some houses and a petrol station next to a busy road in the eastern suburb of Ghatkopar following gusty winds and rain late on Monday. Scores were trapped following the incident, with rescue operations continuing till early on Tuesday. The thunderstorm brought traffic to a standstill in parts of the city and disrupted operations at one of the country's busiest airports.
At least 14 people have died and dozens were injured after a huge billboard fell on them during a thunderstorm in India's financial capital, Mumbai.
Mumbai's municipal corporation said at least 74 people were taken to hospital with injuries following the accident and 31 have been discharged. News channels and posts on social media showed the towering billboard billowing in the wind for a while before it gave way and crashed to the ground. The local weather department had predicted that moderate spells of rain, accompanied by gusty winds reaching 40 to 50 kilometers per hour, were likely to occur in parts of Mumbai district on Monday. There were temporary flight disruptions at the Mumbai airport, with 15 flight diversions and operations suspended for a little over an hour. Mumbai, like several Indian cities, is prone to severe flooding and rain-related accidents during the monsoon season, which usually lasts from June until September every year.
Georgia's parliament greenlit a final vote on a proposed law that critics see as a threat to media freedom and the country's aspirations to join the European Union on Monday, a day after police dispersed the latest protests against it. The bill would require media and non-governmental organizations and other nonprofits to register as pursuing the interests of a foreign power if they receive more than 20% of their funding from abroad. The opposition denounced the bill as the Russian law because Moscow used similar legislation to crack down on independent news media, nonprofits, and activists critical of the Kremlin.
The bill is nearly identical to one that the governing Georgian Dream Party was pressured to withdraw last year after street protests. Renewed demonstrations have rocked Georgia for weeks, with demonstrators scuffling with police, who used tear gas and water cannons to disperse the crowds. The government says the bill is necessary to stem what it deems as harmful foreign influence over the country's politics and to prevent unspecified foreign actors from trying to destabilize it. Police sought to disperse the demonstration, and by Monday morning, only hundreds remained near Parliament. Georgia's Interior Ministry said 20 people were arrested in the morning, including 3 foreign citizens, 2 Americans and a Russian. Georgian President Salome Zourabichvili, who is increasingly at odds with the governing party, has vowed to veto the law, but Georgian Dream has a majority sufficient to override a presidential veto.
A local governor said a 10-story residential building in Belgrade, Russia, was struck overnight by a Ukrainian missile. According to an update from the Emergency Situation Ministry on Sunday, the number of those who died has increased to 15 people. The governor of the Belgrade region said in a post on the Telegram, the Belgrade city and the Belgrade district came under a massive attack by the Ukrainian armed forces. Ukrainian military officials did not immediately comment on the claim, which could not immediately be verified.
The Russian Ministry of Defense said in a statement that the Ukrainian Tochka-U missile that struck the building was among several that Ukraine launched overnight. It was unclear if the missile struck the building as a target or if the damage was caused by fragments of a downed missile. According to Russia's Emergency Situations Ministry, search and rescue workers initially recovered the bodies of 11 people from the rubble of the apartment building. A central portion of the apartment building in Kharkovskaya Gora appeared in photos to have been completely destroyed, with the remaining buildings standing on either side of a gap.
A third trespassing incident unfolded Saturday at Drake's Toronto mansion. Toronto police said police responded to Park Lane Circle at 3:30 p.m. Saturday for the man who was trespassing and failing to leave the property when directed. The man was the same one who was accused of trespassing at Drake's home Thursday. The police said the man returned to Drake's home Saturday to get his bike back. Officers escorted him off the property, and he was given a provincial offences ticket under the Trespass to Property Act in Ontario.
TMZ shared a video from the incident Saturday showing a man holding down another man on the lawn outside the mansion. A spokesperson for Drake declined to comment about the Saturday trespasser. Drake's mansion has been the site of frequent police activity over the past week, beginning with a shooting outside the property last Tuesday that seriously injured a security guard. Drake is in the midst of a beef with fellow rapper Kendrick Lamar, in which the two have released diss tracks aiming at each other. Police said in a news release that in the shooting last week, the guard was shot from a vehicle which then fled the scene. After the shooting, the first trespassing incident happened Wednesday, and that person was apprehended.
Turkish media reported that a curator at the American Museum of Natural History was detained in Istanbul on Monday while allegedly attempting to smuggle spiders and scorpion samples. The curator said he had permits from the government to conduct his research. News outlet reported that Lorenzo Pradini, an expert at arachnids at the New York-based museum, was held by police at Istanbul airport while allegedly trying to take about 1,500 samples out of the country. The state-run Anadolu news agency reported that Pradini was detained for allegedly attempting to smuggle species found in Turkey.
Video published by the Demirören news agency showed officers searching hand luggage and removing plastic bags that appeared to be packed with dead spiders and scorpions. In emailed comments to the Associated Press, Pradini said the police had disregarded permits from the Turkish government to conduct his research in collaboration with Turkish scientists. He said, "The police completely ignored this and relied on the testimony of an expert who has a conflict of interest with my collaborators, and whose scientific research is highly questionable." The museum's website lists Pradini as the curator of its spider, scorpion, centipede, and millipede collections. It says his research into spiders and scorpions has taken him to more than 30 countries.
One of the greatest climbing guides on Mount Everest has scaled the world's highest peak for the 29th time, extending his record for the most times to the summit. Mingma Sherpan of the expedition organizer's 7 Summit Treks said Rita reached the 29,032 feet peak at 7:25 a.m. local time, Sunday, along with other climbers. He was reported in good health and already on the way down to lower camps. Rita had climbed Mount Everest twice last year, setting the record for the most climbs on the first and adding to it less than a week later.
He and fellow Sherpa guide Pasang Dawa have been competing with each other for the title of most climbs of the world's highest peak. Pasang Dawa has 27 successful ascents of the mountain. Rita first climbed Everest in 1994 and has been making the trip nearly every year since. He is one of many Sherpa guides whose expertise and skills are vital to the safety and success each year of foreign climbers who seek to stand on top of the mountain. His father was among the first Sherpa guides. In addition to his Everest climbs, Rita has scaled several other peaks that are among the world's highest, including K2, Cho Oyu, Manaslu, and Lhotse. Nepalese authorities have issued hundreds of climbing permits to foreign climbers. At least as many local Sherpa guides will be accompanying them during the climbing season.
The answer for yesterday is A, intertwined. In fact, the problem is closely intertwined with complex social issues. Did you answer correctly? Now let's delve into the news of museum curator detained over spider smuggling. Number 1, smuggle, 走私, 私运, 偷运. They were caught smuggling diamonds into the country. Number 2, collaborate, 合作, 协作. We have collaborated on many projects over the years. Number 3, alleged, 声称的, 被断言的. They have begun a hunger strike in protest at the alleged beating. Next, we have a multiple choice question for everyone to practice. Which answer would you choose? You can write your answer in the comments section. The correct answer will be announced tomorrow. And that's it for today's Funday News. Be sure to tune into Funday News from Monday to Friday and click the link below to join Funday for free. I'm Wade Lee, your host. I'll see you next time.